One of the ways we describe young people in Te Reo Māori is as taiahi. Taiahi coming from tai, referring to the ebbing and the flowing of the tide. So capturing the way in which young people are kind of in a period of transition in their life, becoming adults, perhaps through finishing education, perhaps new relationships, and in particular, starting work. One of the dangers in 2020 and the economic impact of COVID-19 is that many young people risk missing the tide and losing those opportunities to enter into work. In the past, one of the ways that the government has measured this disengagement from work has been through the category of youth NEET. NEET meaning not in education, employment or training. So in 2019, there were around 70,000 young New Zealanders who were youth NEET. 10% of those were what we call long-term NEET, meaning they'd been disengaged from education, employment or training for at least 6 months or longer, and overrepresented in our youth NEET rate are Pacifica and Māori youth. In 2020, we're already starting to see an increase in the number of youth NEETs. So although we're worried about the waves of unemployment that we're seeing in New Zealand, young people are being impacted in particular. So when young people lose those early opportunities to work, they suffer economically, socially and personally over time. So economically, they lose productivity and earnings over time. They lose the social connections that come from being in work. So not just the skills that come from a job, but also the habits and the attitudes and the kind of the language of work that comes from being in a workplace, which you don't get from Zoom. And this has personal consequences. Where young people don't get into work, they face a sense of failure, which can make it even harder to get into work later on. So as we talk about the economic recovery from COVID-19, we need to put young people front and centre. We need to talk about the needs and circumstances that young people face and what they need to get into work. This is not just something for government to consider, it's something that all New Zealanders need to take responsibility for, being responsible for our taiahi and their future.